Excellent. Well, thank you all for coming out. Welcome back. This is going to be exciting. Move more towards this direction so that I'm squarely in the middle of my box here. All right, so thank you for coming back to Nibiru, Echoes of Ashur. We will be going briefly over the characters that are joining us today, but I'll start off by saying thank you to all of our sponsors. I believe they're going to be dropped in the chat. So last week, a group of ragtag protagonists, as oft they are, found themselves in a bit of a whirlwind adventure as their mentor, the figure that brought them to a degree of safety and found for them an opportunity to escape the dismal, bleak existence that they otherwise would face without citizen tags and being amnesiacs in the grandiose city of Ashur, which is, of course, part of the major and umbral powers. So our party found that their mentor and savior figure, Ninkasi, was taken from them, had disappeared, and all of a sudden they were being hounded down by the forces of Enki, the Covenant that seeks to nab and whistle away any and all amnesiacs for nefarious purposes that none quite understand, unless they are part of the Covenant themselves. They're essentially the boogeyman of our protagonist figures. So, having escaped their forces bearing down on them and gotten to their pre-agreed upon meeting point, the institute that was researching the vaults that are unoxygenated, they met up with a group of people. And they are preparing to now disembark and go on a long journey into the dead vaults, the lost vaults of Ashur, Era. So that's where we left off, and our party has just assembled and met up with some of their other teammates who will be joining them on this mission. But before we get into that too much, let's start off by introducing our lovely cast once more. Why don't we start at the bottom and work our way up towards Esnai, as opposed to the previous time when I started with Esnai. Just do a little switcheroo. So let's start with Letta. Tell us a bit about yourself and anything else you need to.
Hi, I'm Kat at Cleric of Cord. I'm playing Leda, who is not physically like the people of Ashur. She clearly has the physiology of somebody from a heavier G area, which makes her stand out even more when you're trying not to get noticed. So not a good thing. She tends to kind of stay in the shadows and stay hidden. She is a vagabond of the Dreadlands, and memories, even positive memories, are especially painful for her because of her nightmare, which we may get to see this time.
I'm very excited. All right, thank you very much. Pop, tell us a little about your character and yourself.
Yes, so first of all, in the real world, I will just let you know, I'm streaming on the go. I'm at my in-laws' house, and there are several dogs and many people, so expect background noise, but I will keep myself on mute otherwise. But I'm excited to be here and happy to be playing. And if the dogs run by, I'll try to scoop one up and have a puppy cameo. But I am playing Pop. She is a bright towner who we don't really know where she comes from, of course, like all of us, but she is very optimistic and happy and believes that a positive attitude is the best approach to every problem. And I'm Tori, level 1 geek, so that's me.
All right, thank you very much. Let's move on to Saphir. Tell us about them. Tell us about your character. Party-wide.
Hi, I'm Rindus of Party Wipe Games. I will be playing Saphir. They are a vagabond of the machine. They do not understand how their organic systems work. They absolutely do not enjoy any of it. They do enjoy Pop and their face. They established they are quite fond of Pop's face, and otherwise everything else is awkward aside from setting organics on fire, which we found out that they enjoy quite a bit. Also, they might have been an Alexa in a past life.
Amazing. Yes. I think we did find that out. All right. And last but not least, let's go over to Isnai. Tell us a little about yourself, Lee.
Hi. Hey, so I'm Lee, Quadcore on Twitter, and Pat and I are, of course, from Diesel Shot. Happy to be out here on Weave the Tale. Iznai is a vagabond of the womb, and his memories that come to him are of the station's own experiences. And he has a bit of an incentive. His beacon is to seek out the places where he's had his memories. So he's got a bit of a unique perspective, and it is one of the backgrounds coming in that expansion pack. So if that sounds cool to you, Kickstarter is still alive. All that's to say that Iznai has been awake and wandering for a while as a vagabond, and he thinks that one of his best chances at maybe being able to lie low is getting some legitimate Ashurian papers. So he's just trying to keep everyone alive, keep a low profile, get the papers, and get out before anything else, shall we say, comes of the situation that they find themselves in. But yeah, that's Iznai in a nutshell.
All right, excellent. Thank you all for explaining your characters, skills, done your characters, gave a brief overview. I think we're ready to go. What do you guys say? Let's delve in. All right, when we last left off, you had just encountered the agent of the NP Covenant. Let's show the map just briefly, if we could. The NP Covenant agent Susudo, and he came over, tried to get all of you guys to out yourselves, and the newly introduced Commander Karoom kind of told him, "Fuck you, go the hell away." And here we are in the Institute. And you're getting ready to go. Anybody have anything to say before you get into your Shift Z crawler? Actually, I'm not sure it's showing off. Ah, there we are.
It is now.
Beautiful art from the book, by the way.
Would we
so
have
where you
ever
are.
been in one of these before?
That is an excellent question. I think Saphir would feel kind of intuitively connected to the crawler, but how long have you been awake and feeling your own memories, or feeling your own person since awakening?
I think Pop has been awake for 6 cycles, I decided, which a cycle is about 3 months, is I believe what we said.
Yes, cycles are 3 months. So you've been awake for, let me do some quick math in my head, 6 times 3.
About a year and a half.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds exactly correct. Finally, the math kind of ticked off in my head. I'm like, oh yeah. So, year and a half. Do you think that you would have any reason to have been in a crawler? Because I'm very, very willing to let you have been in one. But they're kind of not a function of the Ashur city itself.
Yeah, I don't think so. So if that's the case, Pop is very excited at seeing this great big machine. She's kind of hopping
Definitely
from foot to foot.
I love Pop. Yeah. So the thing actually, seeing you hopping from foot to foot. Let's just say there's kind of a big hangar room off the side of the Institute here, and that's where the crawler is. And it kind of nods its massive head in agreement at your hopping, and it's just like slow lumbering. Seems to recognize that you're hopping in enjoyment, and it's
that thing is
nodding
sentient.
Of course.
Lita looks
Why
at
would it not be? It is enjoying Pop's energy.
Well, we all enjoy Pop's energy. I didn't expect it to be sentient is all. Interesting.
Why not?
Do you have a name?
So walking, actually, yeah, no, Sagine's probably left the room. But the researcher Ashur, they look around the party and say, I'm not entirely sure that it does have a name. Care to name it? We've just been calling it the crawler.
I could ask what it's called.
Yeah, sure, if that's... I didn't realize that that was something that anybody could do. It's very hard to communicate with these things, especially once you program them so that their AI cores are suitable to your needs, as opposed to, well, what they inherently do, which is not much for our purposes. Commander Karoom kind of walks back behind Ashur and says, "Yeah, sure. I'll go grab some of the equipment, start loading it up."
Saphir's gonna walk up to the crawler and just kind of reach up, put a hand on it, and then tilt their head back and then it's gonna make like the worst AOL dial-up sounds out of their mouth to try and communicate with the crawler.
Amazing. Yeah.
What
okay.
language is that, Saphir? I've never heard anything like that before.
It is crawler.
Wow. Can you teach me how to speak that?
Absolutely. It will take some time to get your vocal cords in the right arrangement. Also, its name is Jeff.
Hello, Jeff. I am Pop. Nice to meet you. And she'll wave and then hold out a hand, like, to shake. And kind of look around and decide to go near its leg. And she'll just kind of crouch down under there and pat its leg.
Yes, the crawler kind of turns its massive head over to you and does that same nodding motion that it did before.
Yes, I agree. Pop is very nice.
Nodding motion.
He's not like scoping out over his shoulder. Is this place only available to like people with the research institute?
Yes, this is a research institute exclusive location. Sorry about the people that might be here that don't belong.
No, I'm just he's not like looking over his shoulder the whole time because he doesn't want to get snuck up on by the Covenant again.
Oh, indeed. So the only people that are in the room are those that will be joining you on the expedition. You've got researcher Ashur, the kind of wild card / muscle figure of Puabi. Well, actually, she's more of a like, scoundrel roguish type. And you've got two, as of yet unnamed figures with guns. Who are probably wearing gas masks and could easily be replaced by art that I asked you to upload, Lee.
I thought we named them.
There.
Didn't we ask chat to
sweet.
name those gun guys?
Oh, did we? I don't remember getting a result though.
We got a number of recommendations that were, I think, transcribed to so they were, the suggestions were Biggs and Wedge, Bay Arthur, Clark and Kent, Timon and Pumbaa, and Jax and Toodles. Those were the name suggestions we got from chat.
Amazing. All right, Biggs and Toodles. Those are the names. All right, Biggs and Toodles. They are they're also very interested in getting their papers so that they can be fully functional citizens of Ashur. That's of course why this mission was assembled. None of you are by default citizens, and getting your tickets is quite an ordeal. So you've decided to go a more legitimate route than many, in that you're not dealing with the Silus, who are venture capitalists. You're kind of dealing with the Silus still, but it's a little bit removed. Yeah, so everybody in this room is going on the mission with you. Everybody's getting ready. Was there anything else further you wanted to delve into?
I just think, once we get all loaded up, making sure, trying to find our way where our gear is stored, where our quarters are there quarters, are we sleeping in hammocks in the boiler room kind of thing?
Yeah, should I put them?
That's an excellent point. I'm gonna grab everybody. Yep. Yeah, Lee, do you have the characters, or
Yeah,
or I've got them
get them
copied.
over.
Okay, let's go on over to the crawler. We've got a map for this. The system, again, is not very heavy on maps, but we like to show off here at Diesel Shot, or with the Diesel Shot crew, at least. So yeah, that's what the situation is. You've got a nice spacey interior. The bottom part is mostly for storage. The top part, which looks like it was built onto the crawler, as if the canopy of an elephant's back saddle. And yeah, so sleeping arrangements wise, I'm gonna say there's probably some bunks kind of along the walls back here. And it looks like you'll be here for a little bit of time. Ashur and Ira are removed by a very long, expansive hallway from each other. In fact, we do have a map I can run and grab. Let me find that. It's not the Ashur map. We've already seen that. Lee, do we have the map of the upper station of Nibiru?
If this is the one you're looking at, Ashur, right?
It's not overly important, actually. Ira is a ways away, though, and you'll have to go through quite a few of occupied tunnels in order to get there.
So does Jeff drive himself?
Jeff does indeed drive himself, with a little bit of command from the people over here. Plobby sits down at the captain's chair, as it were. It's more like an animal handler's chair, and Commander Karoom sits back at the other chair that's over here. And he seems like he's leaning around. He's being helpful. He's got a little bit of proj that he's smoking slowly, savoring.
Well, I think this bunk looks like the best one. At least for me. I'm gonna go right here and dump my meager belongings on that bed. And then I'm gonna point to the top bunk and I'm gonna say, Saphir, do you want to sleep up here? Then we can talk at night and tell secrets and talk about how Commander Karoom should be happier, or, I don't know, whatever other observations you might have noticed.
That all
Very
sounds
happy,
incredibly
man.
fascinating. I like that idea. The top bunk is good for my cooling processors. And they just kind of like flap their ears for a moment.
Amazing. Yeah. Fantastic. So, Pop, out of curiosity, what sort of items did you drop down on the bunk?
Well, I imagine she maybe has like one extra shirt. And she doesn't have much And I was thinking she might put down her sunglasses, but I think actually, no, she keeps those with her always. So I think really it's just a shirt. And that's it. Oh wait, no.
Shirt,
she
bedroll,
definitely brought the pipe, and she'll throw that under the bed, not like on top of the mattress because it's got blood, but she'll roll it down underneath.
All right. I kind of thought that one of you guys grabbed some alcohol from Ninkasi's place, but I could be mistaken.
Oh yeah, didn't Isnai grab some?
I threw all of mine at someone.
That's also possible. I probably lost track.
We might have a little something.
All right, excellent. So Ashur kind of announces to the group, excellent. Well, if everybody's settled in, we're going to begin our journey not too long from now. We still have several hours, so if there's anything that you need to do, you may do it now. Otherwise, we will engage in an out-of-character time skip. He does not say that part. But they do say, yes. So thank you all for joining us on this expedition. I'm sure it'll be very, very educational. There's so much that we can learn about our past from delving into the core of Anumbra. So little is known about exactly what the inner workings of Nibiru, what they do, what causes all of this to occur, why we are here in the first place. There's so many deep and pressing questions that can be answered if we just do a little research, little digging, little unearthing. And thank you all for joining us on this mission. It means a lot to me, and a lot to a lot of other people as well. Ideally, if we play our cards right, we could see the era, we could see the vaults of Era reestablished as settlements. And can you think of the greatness that could come of that? We could rebuild what has been lost. The prospects are fantastic, and I thank you all so deeply for joining us. That was directed literally everybody, including Biggs, Toodles, Commander Karoom, Fwabi. They clearly don't all work together very regularly.
She's not from Era, right? She's from Ashur?
Fwabi? Yeah, she's... nobody except for the researcher Aster is from Ashur. Well, I mean, actually, Fwabi is from the Little Sisters, but they don't all have tags, citizen tags in the Little Sisters. It's kind of a slum situation.
But does the researcher Aster really seem just chuffed at the possibility that people will be able to live there? Like, no ulterior motives?
I believe you tried to roll an intuition sort of roll last time, right?
I don't think we did on her. Yeah,
I incited the
Silu. They, them. I've misgendered them once, but sorry.
Yes,
you incited
I have not
the
done
Silu.
them.
Okay.
Okay,
yes.
I incited the Silu and I incited Karoom, but I haven't incited Aster.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Here we go.
Aster of Ashur. Excellent. All right. Yeah, so from what you can tell, Aster is not one for public speaking. This is not their strong suit. They are kind of rambly, and they didn't have a very strong point when they were going about their kind of mission statement. You can tell that they're a little bit nervous to be the head of a mission, essentially. They don't take easily to this kind of work. Looks like they're super stressed, and they're trying not to let anybody know. But the short and quick of it is, no, they're not chuffed at the prospect of anybody living there. They're not really chuffed about very much. The thing that they were really chuffed about was the prospect of learning. It looks like they are very, very interested in learning more about the inner workings of the station, and they don't particularly have a strong opinion about what happens to Ira after they do that.
I think Lita's exploring the ship. She's very curious. She's never traveled this way. She's only ever walked, and this is something out of her, well out of her realm of experience. But I think it's the idea of exploring is starting to trigger something. But again, it's not quite, the memory's not quite coming back as she's wandering around. She's because it triggers so much pain for her that she's trying to fight regaining that memory a little bit.
Ooh, excellent. Yeah, you look around and you find all the workings or all the expected stuff that you would, rations to help you on your journey. There are extra gas masks. I don't know if it doesn't look like we're broadcasting the visible side of things, but there's gas masks enough for everybody in the group. They're lined up on the walls of the interior of the ship. Crates
catches her
filled with
attention.
food, equipment. Oh, yes.
The gas masks catch her attention, and
see the gas masks.
She takes one down, and then walks over to Commander Karoom. And why do we have these? Why do we need them?
He looks at you and says, your vault is it's airless. We're gonna need to bring our own if we get that far.
You don't think we're gonna get that far?
There's plenty of obstacles before we get to the airless chambers. The tunnels are in a strong state of disrepair. If we can get the crawler all the way through the tunnels as they become more narrow and less functional, then we'll be quite in a nice situation. But I don't hold out much hope that the crawler will be joining us for the entirety of the journey. And as for whether we'll be using these or not, all depends on whether we get into the vaults themselves. It's not an easy journey. That's why we were brought on. There's danger in the inner workings of this place we call home.
Have you wandered those areas much?
He looks down for a second, a wry smile emerging on his face. Not by choice.
And where are you from? And not Nineveh.
I am from Nineveh. But I'm
right
from the repercussions of the actions of my parentage. Let's just say the dying embers of the last flicker. My family made a difficult decision that I do not support. And I ended up raised outside of the workings of either Nineveh or Ashur. And I found myself here.
So you're not like us. Isnai, Saphir, Pop, and myself. You have a home and a family.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Don't mean to disappoint.
Just not disappointed, just curious.
I have a home, if you can call it that. But
you have more than a lot of us do.
He winces at that. Sure. Sure.
You have
Got a lot of
memories.
Memories aren't always
You
good
have
thing.
memories. No, but you know who you are and where you're from and where you come from.
You say that.
I
like
look
it's a
forward
good thing.
to one day being that way. Anything is better
If that's
from
what you want.
where I was. It is. It is. This is better than what was before, and anything else can be better.
I'll drink to that, he says, not drinking. Do you smoke? He offers you a Kraj rolled up piece of paper with the mushroom in it, the dried gray herb. It is. He says it's good for well, it's good for gravity sickness, but I'm sure you've been on this side of things long enough that that's not an issue for you anymore.
Not anymore.
You're from
no.
Penumbra, right?
I started in Penumbra.
You started in Penumbra. I've got a strange question for you. Feel free to tell me you're not interested in answering. Are the four of you amnesiacs? We weren't briefed on this if you expected us to know.
Let's just say our pasts aren't always clear.
That would explain why the Enki folks were banging at the door the other day,
Oh,
or
nice and-
earlier today.
Yeah, thank you for that, by the way. Appreciate it.
Don't mention it. They're a bunch of pricks.
You brought it up. I am mentioning it.
Then you're welcome.
Thank you. I've generally found Kaj to be more of a trade useful item, but I have indulged now and again, and she will take it from him and light up.
Excellent. He
And
breathes
she
out
just kind of
and
yeah.
mhm.
She kind of sits there and just watches, looks around, content and silent.
Karum's natural habitat is silence, but he would try to, awkwardly, occasionally start up a conversation with you about very banal things. He's definitely interested that the gas masks piqued your interest. In fact, you could probably see a little bit of recognition in a darker sense when you brought it up to him. He had a good explanation for why they were there, but he sort of, from what you could tell, he wasn't thinking about how he answered when he answered it. He was thinking about something else, but he gave you the practical reason why they're there. But he's had experiences with gas masks before, from what you can tell, that were not positive.
Are there many positive gas mask experiences available?
Pop the Brightlander's like, I would like one positive experience, please.
No, Pop is sitting on her bunk and she elbows Saphir, who I guess in my headcanon is nearby. And
Yes.
she points over at Leda and Karum and says, Saphir, look, I've been trying to tell you, when people, I've told you before that people sometimes like each other and like each other, and they'll kind of, they'll do that thing that I told you about called flirting. I think that's what they're doing.
Oh, I
He's
see.
now silently
This-
face palms in his bunk.
Curious. I will continue to observe. Hopefully this will progress into casual procreation.
Amazing. Yeah, so I'm assuming some hours pass, much as they have, much as the minutes have passed thus far, and after a period in which Aster goes around entering and exiting the call again to make sure that they've done everything that they can to make sure that the expedition is ready to embark. And
Also, Pat, real
yeah.
quick, phrasing.
Mhm.
You can continue. Phrasing.
Oh my god, wait. That was unintentional, I swear. Fuck. Okay.
That too.
All right. Okay, all right, okay. I can't escape the unintentional lewdness.
You can't draw a hottie
Whoops.
like Karoom and not expect this.
the Chad of the group, really.
I mean, come on.
He's hot. Yes, that's why I drew him. Fuck! Don't call me out like this. He's a very sexy man. Okay. So, after a significant rest period, Aster says, "All right, let's get started, shall we?" And kind of gestures to Quabi, who's like, "Yeah, I know how to do this. Yeah, mush." And presses some buttons. You can almost hear the mechanical whirring of a nod outside. In fact, I'm pretty sure Saphir kind of intuits that. Actually, it's kind of weird being inside something that you can feel the sentience of to a degree. And Saphir, you generally, in most cases, can experience the agreement or disagreement of the massive crawler as it moves and responds to stimuli. When it's told to go, it's very happy about that. It likes moving. Jeff is very amenable to this.
Pop will pat the floor of the room they're in and say, "Good job, Jeff. You're doing a great job, and I'm so happy that you're here with us on this trip."
It's also probably a strange moment for anyone watching Saphir to see too. An uncharacteristic smile is on their face, and they do the thing where like they take their shoes off and they just want to feel the metal against their weird skin to kind of have a connection with the other AI.
Yes. Oh my god, I love it. For their part, because I haven't mentioned them yet, Biggs and Toodles are playing a strange card game. Actually, it's a dice game on the table over here. And they're like, "Oh yeah, 1 memory point. Hell yeah." And Toodles is like, "Okay, well, so you go into the dungeon and you find that turns out you've been inside of a giant monster the whole time. Oh my goodness, do I remember anything about that? Are you gonna spend your memory point? I think I will. Roll 43s." And so on and so forth.
Pop is watching
Easy.
with very just gripped interest. She's like looking over their shoulders with just like, "Oh my goodness, I didn't see that coming," and just commenting on their whole story.
Indeed. And the crawler starts moving. It's a clunking at-esque noise that follows. Like, I'm not going to pull a C-3PO and go karam tigash for you, but essentially the crawler starts moving, and quickly through the small windows you can see the lights of Ashur grow more prominently as you move up and out of the Little Sisters and into the city proper. The slum-like environment in which you've been resigned, quickly fades away as the bright lights of the city above take hold upon your eyes, and you see joyful behavior amongst the citizens who are all dressed quite nicely. They all look pristine and proper, like that agent of the Enki Covenant did, with fancy coats and grins, liquids, and food products of all sorts abounding in their hands as they joyously engage in some after-work activities of the sort that you could only dream of down below, because this is where the privileged citizen class lives. And then you pass them by as you move through the city. You move through the joyous activity areas and into more residential places where things are somber once more, but not because of poverty or oppression, but rather because people here are sleeping or playing quietly in their townhouse yards, essentially. You see a few children playing with objects. One of them, I'm assuming you guys are looking out the window. One of them, Pop, almost looks like a toy rocket. Something that you vaguely remember. It's not something that you'd expect to see out here. You've never seen a child from Nibiru playing with one of those.
It's out on the street?
But you remember. There's children out in the street beneath their townhouses playing with objects, and one of the objects looks like a toy rocket, which instantly you recognize.
Okay, Pop leaps up from her bunk and she says, "Wait, we have to stop! We have to stop right now! Stop! Stop, Jeff!" And she bangs on the floor. "Jeff, we have to stop!"
Saphir, Jeff is confused. Jeff is being told to go, but somebody inside of Jeff is saying stop.
Saphir's gonna put a hand up on the wall, and can I try and coerce Jeff to stop?
Yeah. So let me see. Are there rules for, let me just check real quick. I believe there are some rules for like minor AI communication in the machine background. Am I wrong about that? I'm assuming you have that open.
I do. Let's see here.
Special rule, lost tongue. Vagabonds in the machine have inherited the ability to utter and comprehend otherworldly language. Okay. Excellent. The dice pool, which will increase success. Yes. Okay. So, yeah, you can use your lost tongue to attempt to communicate with the machine that is piloting this. What are you going to tell them? What are you going to tell Jeff?
I'm just going to ask Jeff to stop for just a moment. We'll be able to continue walking shortly, just to try and get them to give Papa a chance to hop out.
All right, roll that 1d4, please.
Do I currently have anything? No boons. Okay, just double checking. So let's see here. Oh, what? Yes.
Crazy.
Speaking of boons, right. we're not too far from we're 2 more RTs from a full group boon.
Okay, yeah. So if you guys have Twitter, go check out Weave the Tale on Twitter. And there's a thing that you can share if you would like, and that will give the entire party a bit of a boon, which will be very fun to incorporate into the game. So, Saphir, upon communing with Jeff, you feel that approval nod, and you can hear the whirring of the gears and the servos as a nod is undergone up front. It always moves the ship, the carrier in which you reside when that happens. So there's a little bit of a moving going on as you feel the small tremble of it slowing down to a halt. And Bobby says, "What the heck happened?" And
I'm really
Aster
sorry
says,
to
"I'm confused."
interrupt. I have to go outside just really quick.
I'm like, wait, no, Pop, you do not have to go outside. We are in the streets. The Enki Covenant will be watching. If they know we're leaving in this crawler, they'll send people after us. You can't go outside.
Eastnight, it's so important. I promise I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't important. Please.
I'll go with you.
Like, what's that important? And he's nice trying to like look out the window and see like what are we about to risk
There's just
life
like
for?
toys and stuff.
There's like kids playing in the street, and he assumes immediately that can't be it. So he's like looking at the houses, and he's like, "Do you remember something?"
Sort of. Maybe, Saphir, could I borrow one of your scarves? I could just cover my face, and no one will see me, I promise.
I'll go with you, Pop.
I am not.
It's all right.
I am not normally prone to exposing myself in such ways, but yes, you may have a scarf. And
Thank you.
Without mentioning it, they're gonna pick their favorite one and hand it to Pop, and it's like it's a like yellow and red and orange, and it kind of picked out because Brightlander, yeah.
Cute.
Thank you.
Don't leave Lita's side. And I'm gonna go like over to Toodles and Big and be like, Toodles, Biggs, you might want to go up top for a moment just to get Overwatch. You never know when someone might decide to do something in the street.
Sure, boss. And Biggs is like, "Yeah, all right." Grabs gun. Commander Karoom
This will be
kinda
really, really
steps up
fast, I promise.
at this point and says, "All right, well, at least tell us what you're going to do. This is, well, risky." Considering
It'll be easier.
he kind of speaks softer. Considering, well, everything.
It'll be easier if I just show you, but I have to go get it. I promise it'll be so fast, and Leda won't let anything go wrong. But the longer we stand here, the longer we're just gonna be weirdly sitting in Jeff.
All right, go, please.
Okay.
Let's make this quick.
I'll head down the stairs with Leda.
All right, so
Right
Leda
behind you.
and yes, excellent. Leda and Pop. I don't think I have a map for this area. Actually, why don't I put you briefly in the chase map that I have. Lee, can you move him over to the chase map?
Or we could just not go on the chase
actually,
map.
no,
That
maps.
seems
Yeah,
like
maps are silly. Sorry, I'm being silly here.
I was
I'm
being
sorry.
sarcastic. Like, I don't want to be chased.
Just street. It's just the street.
It's just the name. Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
We're
I
not going
know.
to do the map. I'll shut up. Basically, though, you see a group of kids outside of a kind of long metal tower. This one is not built of sheet metal and scrambled scrap parts. This is a very intentionally built structure. It looks like, it's in the proper style of most of the buildings of Ashur that you've seen so far. As soon as you got out of the Little Sisters. And some of the buildings, like the Institute, for instance, were built with intentionality, much like this one. And at the base of this structure, in which you can imagine quite a few households live, there's a bunch of little kids running around, and they're playing with balls. They're playing with little structures that resemble a crawler, and some little figurines that look like Ashurian soldiers, and just normal kid stuff, basically. And then there's one kid who's got a rocket. And the kid does not actually use it as you would imagine a rocket to function. It's not like pew pew flying into the air. The kid's kind of using it as like a little ramming structure for the Ashurian soldiers to fight other Ashurian soldiers with.
Okay. Leda, do you see that thing that kid has? The red and white and the blue?
Yeah.
I can't really explain why, but I need that. Do you understand?
I think so. Yeah. Yes. Yes, I understand. Okay. How do you propose we go about getting this?
Well, maybe I could just ask him. Maybe he'll just give it to me.
No, I think it's more customary to offer something in trade.
Oh, right. Okay. She looks around for something cool to pick up that she could offer in trade.
Totally. All right. So you're in the middle of a city. There's dangling kind of what hydroponics. Yeah, there's like hydroponic things filled with mushrooms of various sorts. One kind of close to this house, but not produced by the house itself. So like, you'd be grabbing it from a neighbor's yard, basically. Has quite a few rather ornate looking mushrooms of various multicolored hues. Very interesting to look at and very interesting, presumably to taste. You've not seen this before, but you can imagine that it's an edible one, considering it's right next to a bunch of other edible ones. You wouldn't want to mix and match. Aside from that, there's a few odds and ends around in the street. People kind of just imagine you're kind of in a rich suburban area or affluent suburban area. So like, they've got everything out in the front yard, up to and including like the generic bicycle equivalent. So like, if you want to just grab something from somebody's front yard, the floor is yours.
Pop, I have an idea. I know, I have something, I have an idea. I'll be right back. And Lita just books it right back to the crawler, just reaches in, grabs a gas mask off of the wall, and comes running back. She goes, trade this. Kids love stuff like this.
Oh, this is such a great idea. You're so smart, Lita. Okay, I'll take the gas mask, and I'll like put the scarf on my head and kind of over my face a little bit. This is not going to be sketchy at all. And I'm gonna walk over to the kid. I'm gonna keep the gas mask hidden as well for now.
Excellent. Yeah, as you walk over, one of the smaller kids grabs the rocket from the kid who was using it, and the kid who was using it yells, "Hey, that's mine!" And the other kid's like, "I found it first, so I get to use it now. You've had your turn." And the kid who was using it earlier goes, but I need it. I was using it to destroy the Ninevian soldiers. They were doing this horrible thing, and us proud Ashurians had to stop them before they could get the death ray out. And the kid's like, well, that's fine, but I need it now. My Ashurian soldiers are fighting against some evil robots. And they need the ramming rod.
I have the perfect tool for both of you. It's a super Ninevian soldier destroyer, but it can only be used by one person at a time, and it has to be shared by at least 2 people to work.
I don't like sharing. Ooh,
it won't work. If you don't share it, it won't work, and then the Ninevian soldiers will take over.
But then who will fight the robots? The Ninevians love robots. That's stupid. Ninevians don't like robots. They're just controlled by them.
I'm telling you, I have the perfect tool, but I'm only going to give it to you if you trade me that. And she'll point at the rocket.
But this is our special ramming rod. Yeah, I found it the other day. Very
Pop
special.
will pull out the gas mask. But have you ever seen anything like this? This is not just robotic, but it's magic.
Wow, it's magic. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
All right. So, do you want to roll a? Do you want to try and roll a communicate sort of roll here?
Or like persuasion.
I will
whatever
give you
this
a +2 for use of tools.
Okay.
If you would like to take a deficit at this, you may, but you don't have to.
I won't because I feel like Pop is probably good at like I can't spend a memory point right now, but I think she's actually probably kind of good at that.
Definitely.
Okay, so you're adding 2, which means I'm rolling 5 total?
Yes,
right?
5d4.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh my god.
What?
How
What?
does that happen?
How did that happen?
How is that?
That's a rule of threes moment right there, gamer.
Oh my goodness.
Do we have those retweet boons or
yeah, that is the ultimate in
20
fails right
retweets
there.
has been hit. 20 retweets has been hit.
Wow.
I don't know if that's going to avert the rule of 3 invocation upon Pop or not, but
the boon is at Pat's discretion.
It's true.
So remind the audience, Lee, and me as well, what the rule of 3 means.
Well, the rule of 3, appropriately remembered by Tori the first time, is that when you get 3 4s or 3 1s in a roll that didn't succeed, that just automatically generates a new memory that you just have now. You don't remember it from an old life. You just have a memory of this time, and it's going to impact you in the future. In this case, Pop being real bad at convincing these kids to give her things she really wants. Confer it a -1.
-1 to convincing kids.
Now, although I do think that you could pop an influence point to reroll, right?
You could.
Can I reroll all of them? Is that what that does?
Reroll any number of dice, keep the final result. Maybe used on the narrator's dice.
Yes, I'm using my influence point. I want this rocket ship, dang it. We're gonna
excellent.
And I literally can't roll worse, so
that is the worst roll ever.
How do I still not get any 4s? All right, well,
at least I didn't. And that's also a rule of 3s instance as well.
But it's not 4
all right.
1.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's
not.
Dang
it. Pat, we do have. I don't know if this is when it's going to come up, but we've reached the 20 retweet boon.
All right. Well, you know what? I think I'm feeling generous, and this is something that matters to you. So I'm going to use the boon for the party and say that
He's not approve of this use of the boon, but.
All right, so the kids look around, they see the gas mask, and they kind of huddle amongst themselves. And then one kid in the back is like, "That's a real gas, or that's a real mask. They used those back in the war." And then one of them's like, "Oh wow, how cool! We could be just like the soldiers. They used them back in the war." When they were fighting against the Ninevans.
Lita's going to take the gas mask from Pop and go over to the kid. And she's like, "I will help you put this on. I'll show you how to do it. And then you will be the scariest and the baddest soldier in the neighborhood. If you'll give me the rocket."
Ooh. Yes. You hear the general agreement that they're going to give over the rocket in exchange for this gas mask because it's super cool. The smallest one who had the rocket first comes over to you, Pop, and she's like, "Here, you can have this, tall lady."
And I think putting the gas mask on the kid triggers a flashback memory for Lita.
By the way, tall lady, you have a pretty smile, she says as you put the gas mask on the kid next to her. All right, Lita, you're putting the gas mask on the child. What's your memory?
Well, I think the action that goes with it is she knows automatically how to use it. And so I'm going to spend a let's spend a memory point to get an automatic success on this on this roll for manipulating gas mask. But and the memory is tied to being on a quest and helping someone acquire what they need to help complete the quest. And it's just that memory of knowing what needs to be done to make that happen, that trade happen.
Nice.
And Lita, she puts the gas mask on the child, and then she kind of starts to double over in pain, and just kind of stands there for a minute like this, just and then just,
those of you who are watching probably see her eyes glowing a shiny gold as well.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not good. This is not good.
Pop
Izna
will
is in,
try
not
and
is in
grab
danger
her
zone.
shoulders. Yeah, and start trying to walk her over.
She starts to cough as she gets back up on the ship, and she goes and finds a bunk and curls up in the farthest corner she can.
I'm like, Zephyr, get it moving.
As she hands off the rocket to Pop.
Yeah.
Okay, Jeff, we are good to move.
Pat, I would like to lobby that I feel like I maybe earned a memory point because I followed my beacon.
I think you did. Exactly. Yes.
Which I guess for the chat, for Bright Towners, my beacon is to find these items from the place where I came from and grab them when I see them. So that is what I did with Leta's help.
Excellent. Yeah. I don't know if I can, I don't think that I have the ability to freely grant those out willy-nilly, but Lita gets an honorable mention.
Oh, and I also now have to roll for its significance, which I doubt I'll fill the memory slots for this item, but basically I have to build my memories around these items that I get, and its significance is how many memories are associated with this object. So I'll just do that.
How significant is this little toy rocket?
It is less significant than my sunglasses, but pretty significant. 4 memories worth.
Holy shit. That's a lot of memory. All comes flooding back to you, and just like Lita, you're kind of overwhelmed by a bit of a headache, but it's a good kind of headache. It's like it's less a headache and more sort of a whole body high as you look it over, and you're kind of dumbfounded by the revelations that are being held in your hand right now. Both of you are kind of a bit incapacitated as the ship lurches forward, slowly lumbering to a start as it gets its gate going. And those of you who are not Lita or Pop can kind of make out some figures moving towards you. And now that you're looking at it, there's some figures in windows that are looking at you rather strangely. And wouldn't you know it, somebody with a death spitter walks up to the group of kids and leans down and offers them something as you fade into the distance.
I'm just like, Pop, I hope whatever you got is well worth the risk we've all just taken.
I'll hold up the rocket from my laying down position on the bed. It's so beautiful, you guys. She's like kind of tearing up just looking at the rocket.
Indeed. The paint is a bit scratched, but it still looks like it used to. And you recognize that it used to look like something. This is something that you've held in your hands, you feel. This was yours or somebody next to you's. Somebody you cared deeply about gave this to you. There's so much history in this one item that you're feeling now physically with your hands. Scratching at the paint. Was that always scratched? Did you scratch that paint? mind-blowing. And the tunnels await. It is a slow and lumbering journey, and you're moving at a steady pace. Through the windows, you see the affluent town, somber and active, both fade out of view. Gone are the children playing. Gone are the carousing upper-class folk. And at present are the gate guards who briefly look at the paperwork that Aster provides them and nod your carrier out of the city and in to the tunnels outside. The long, winding expanse between Ashur and everything else. It is not a wild and unchained land, though. This is a very heavily policed and guarded region of border. And getting out of the city of Ashur is very easy. Getting anywhere else or back into the city of Ashur is going to require significantly more paperwork. While this is all happening, you've got a bit of a long period of time, a lull, in which not much happens as the crawler goes slowly trudging forth into the tunnels. Commander Karoom steps up off of the small table, or small chair that he was residing at, and kind of looks over the group and says, "All right, are any of you going to explain what just happened? Or we're just going to do the not talking thing? Because I can do that, but I feel like it's not going to be good for group cohesion."
Well, I saw this. Hold up the rocket. And I needed it. And so Leda came with me because she is my friend. And that's what friends do. And Pop will glance over at Leda, like over in the bunk. I don't know how she's doing. How does Leda look right now?
A little bit better, but she's still kind of curled up, like she's got a migraine and coughing now and again.
I wish I could explain it, but have you ever just like had a gut feeling, like instinct or like a premonition or something?
Maybe once.
Well, that's kind of what this is. I need it. And it's really important. More important than anything else that I could have done on this trip. No offense, researcher. She'll kind of give an apologetic smile to Aster.
Aster kind of looks up, grimaces, and then they look down back at their paperwork. They don't say anything to you, though.
I assure you that this will be the last time there are any unexpected stops.
Better be. That was a pain in the ass.
I do not believe that.
I don't like it when
entirely probable.
Zephyr, you recently discovered that you can talk to the... And I point at the crawler.
Jeff.
Well, if you can talk to Jeff, then Jeff talks to you, right?
Yes.
So if Jeff needs to stop, Jeff will just tell you, and then we'll know.
Of course.
And then we'll always be expecting it.
Of course. And not at all because I asked him to stop.
Bobby looks over the group, kind of having walked in after Commander Karoom tried to figure out what was going on. Commander Karoom kind of, for his part, walks over here and actually goes over to ask Leda how she's doing, because, you know, the whole migraine thing. Also, he definitely saw the glowing eyes and was like, huh, what's that? Pwabi, however, kind of moves over here and confronts Saphir and says, "What's the deal with that? Since when have people been able to talk to machines without saying words or putting them into buttons? It's kind of inconvenient to just be piloting this thing and then all of a sudden it has a mind of its own."
I apologize. My intention was not to cause inconvenience, but I should remind you, Jeff always has a mind of their own.
Well, okay. That's arguable.
No, it's
Had
not.
a very
It is a
intense
fact.
conversation with. Sure. Fine. Whatever. And
Would I argue
she
that
sort of
you
walks
do not
off.
have a mind?
Oh, I've got one mind. One mind or another. About the shit that just transpired. I'll be over here, sitting in my chair. Minding my own business.
You're doing a great job, Pwabi. Thank you. And then Pop will turn to Saphir and also kind of pat the floor and say, "It's okay. She doesn't understand."
Jeff gives like a nod, and Saphir, you know that Jeff's kind of relayed. Not very many people do to you in so few words. Over here, though, Commander Kroom's like, you went down there pretty hard. Did something happen?
Happens
Okay.
lately. Sometimes it just feels like my head's gonna explode. Like there's
Is that
something
part of
inside. I don't know. But it hurts.
I guess you probably. It hurts. Well, I can't say I know what you're going through. As you said earlier, I have a home that I could go back to. But
what you said about memories. That memories aren't always good, or they can be painful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Physically painful, it turns out.
I meant it kind of metaphorically, but I can see that. Well, do you think smoking might help? It's good for gravity sickness. Maybe the effects could numb you to the pain.
Yeah, I can try. It might. It's only like the third time it's happened. Don't know what or why.
Don't suppose you've seen a doctor about this?
I live in the little.
That wasn't a question. It was more of a statement.
Yeah, it's like I live in the Little Sisters. I don't have citizen tags. I'm barely scraping by. And Cassie's the only thing that's been keeping me alive. No, I haven't seen a doctor.
Yeah, I haven't in a while either. But maybe I could look at your head, see if I can see any abrasions. I have some military training. We go over first aid.
It's not trauma. Well, not physical trauma.
I didn't think so. You did fall pretty hard, though. Don't know if you recognized.
I don't remember falling.
I was watching. Sorry, I talked over you.
Sorry about the gas mask. She's like, I don't remember falling, and sorry about the gas mask. I'll pay for it. Figure out some way to do it.
Don't worry about it. Expeditionary fund. We always carry one extra anyway. Although that does mean we
Pop.
don't have a backup.
Pop's happy.
That's what matters.
Yeah, it is.
He doesn't seem to disagree. He genuinely agrees. Up here in the top, though, Poppy's kind of given like a look. Something that you know, she looks around without saying anything, but like, you know, she gives the sort of gross get out of room look, and Aster, for their part, is completely engulfed in research. And,
Can I
yeah.
oh, sorry. Can I just, when this exchange is finished, I would like to wander over to Leda's bunk.
Sure.
I'm gonna knock on the like post, like a door. Knock knock.
Hey, Pop.
Hey, I'm really sorry that my thing, she's holding the rocket still. I'm really sorry that my thing kind of triggered your thing, and your thing wasn't as fun as my thing. And I feel really bad.
It was a good thing. And, you know, if there's a trade-off for a good thing, means I get a headache, that's fair.
Well, I know I've said this a bajillion times and you always kind of roll your eyes when I say it, but you really are a good friend, and I'm happy that I met you. And Pop will forcibly give Leda a hug, whether or not she wants to accept one.
Leda will take the hug. I'm glad we're friends too, Pop. You help me remember that whatever happens here is always going to be better than what became before.
Exactly.
Thank you, Pop. Now, what the hell is that thing?
I don't know why I know this, but I think it's called a rocket ship. But it's weird because this isn't a rocket ship. It's like a model, like a smaller toy version of a rocket ship.
What's a
And
rocket
I think
ship?
it was, oh, well, it's something that flies into space. Like, kind of like Jeff, except it like zooms up into the air and flies around among the stars and planets and stuff. And
Planets?
I don't know why I know that.
What are planets and stars in space?
I don't really know. I just I know those words. But I think it was mine or somebody's that I knew. I don't know. It's really pretty though.
Maybe someday we'll get to see it again.
I think we will.
All right. And over here, I'm assuming the two machinists are, or the machinist and the amnesiac of the womb, vagabond of the womb, rather, are engaged in silent contemplation.
Well, I mean, at some point, when like other people are not likely to listen, I will like pretend that I'm examining this hatch, and be like, "So, Saphir, you can ask Jeff to stop," and they do. You're muted.
I can certainly request that they stop. Whether Jeff chooses to or not is up to Jeff.
Do you think Jeff is more likely to choose to listen to you or Puabi?
I think Jeff finds Puabi to be problematic in their opinions, so much more likely to listen to me.
Easier to cancel her orders then. Well, Just we might keep that in mind in case her inclinations ever run up against ours again. I would have preferred we keep moving, but if there are ever Enki Covenant behind us and she decides to stop, we could encourage Jeff to ignore that.
Yes.
At your discretion.
This was important to Pop, and I felt compelled to make Pop happy.
Yes, well, we must find what joy we can in the lives we have been given to lead. So, there is that.
I will process your consideration if we need to override their commands. I feel Pop would be amicable to the request.
Certainly. Well, I leave it to your discretion, Zephyr. You know much more about machines than most of us.
I do have a very hands-on experience.
Quite. And hands in.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So, time transpires, and you
Time
find
does
yourselves,
transpire.
indeed, several hours, in fact.
Might
Pardon
we...
me. And you find yourselves at a gate into the tunnel system of another city state entirely. And you find that there are guards at these doors, and well, the carrier is capable of moving past them, so don't mind the whole like sizing of the map. We'll make the carriers a little smaller comparatively. So the carrier gets to the gateway, and sorry?
It's 8:33.
Oh, and we pause for a 10-minute break. Perfect timing.
Yes,
All
the break in the session, the break in the territory.
Break in the territory, and yes, wow, I was actually saying that, but you beat me to it. So cool, yeah, exactly. Whole
So
bunch of borders at the moment. All right, so I will be right back. I'm gonna go get myself a snack of pizza, and we'll be back in 10. See you soon.
Good evening, gamers.
All right, everybody, thank you for coming back. Let's get back to it. So, our party has just found themselves at a border. Oh my goodness, sorry. I just ate some pizza, so I'm still kind of in that post-pizza burpee mode. Yes, our players have just found themselves at a borderland in between two different locations in the Penumbra. They are coming from Ashur, and in order to get to the dead vaults of Era, they have to go through quite a bit of terrain. And they have to pass by the sovereign territory of a number of different city-states. Penumbra, of course, being highly populated. Right now, they are currently at the nexus point between Ashur and a number of other city-states. There's a big kind of confluence of tunnels, and right now, they're very close to Nineveh. We've heard a little bit about Nineveh throughout these episodes, and you may not have picked up certain tidbits. Nineveh is, in fact, controlled by an AI, but not in a negative fashion. It is directed and given positive influence by the marvelous AI Europa, who has been directing their society since it was founded. But none of that really matters to the Border Patrol, who was controlled by the Silu councils. And the Silus are, as we've learned, venture capitalists of the nastiest sort. And they have a credit system that controls the tunnels of Penumbra. And this is where we return to our story. As the crawler approaches a checkpoint.
Well, leader, I'll be looking forward to our first border crossing without having death spitters pointed directly at our meat bodies.
I'm not so sure that that's not going to happen.
Well, as long as we keep the ones with the death spitters outside the crawler.
It is still
at least
early.
This time we have death spitters too.
True. We can be thankful for the little things.
And Lita has already taken the thumb the safety off and is just kind of sitting there waiting just in case. She's inside the top hatch.
Oh shit.
Kind of sitting next to a window, okay. Just waiting, just in case.
All right, Lita's got a gun. All right, yeah, no, I've moved you back to the crawler. You can feel free to set up as you'd like. This is not like a combat map, though, so, you know, if combat happens, whatever.
East Knight, should I get my pipe?
You know, you might want to have something handy, but don't overdo it. You know, for the moment, we just all want to be very calm. And if you think about people who you just sort of overlook when they're in a room, emulate that person. Just don't be noticed.
Indeed. And with that advice, you hear the comms pop on, and Pwabi grabs the comms unit, and she says, "This is this is the mission to the dead vaults of Era. You've been informed. Standard procedure, nothing out of the ordinary. Need to check our papers and whatnots and hoo-ha's." And over the comms, you hear a rather stern voice say, "Yes, we've been informed that there are some passengers on one of these carriers that's coming and going from, or that's coming from the city of Ashur that should not be allowed to leave the sovereign territory of Ashur itself. You wouldn't mind if we took a look on your ship, would you?" To which Prabi responds, "That's not going to be necessary. We all have papers filed. Just look at just look at your loadout. I'm sure they sent it over the net. You should have our should have all the details of our mission. It was filed with the Sealu councils. In fact, we've got passes to leave, and those passes do not require the passengers on this vessel to be citizens. So just there's not really an issue here. Just a bunch of little sisters, folks, who bit down on their luck. That's all. But when the mission succeeds, they'll all have papers. Everything will be great. But right now they have temporary work passes. So if you'll just let us through. I'm afraid we can't do that, comes the response. Sounds like you're being boarded.
Isnai, what do we do?
Doesn't seem to be a very large amount. From what you can tell out the windows, there's maybe 3 or so people manning this station.
All right.
A couple more further down the hall.
And I'm just gonna, so like Toodles and Biggs, right? They're like they're the muscle aside from Karoom. How are they responding?
They are still playing their game. One of them's lamenting that he spent his memory point and it was on a useless skill. So not going to see that come up again. But whatever. If it ever comes up that he needs to do a specific thing like poison children, then look at
and they're not like in. They don't have papers either, right? They're from the Little Sisters.
They're from the Little Sisters. What Wabi is describing perfectly describes them. They're a bunch of Little Sisters.
I'm gonna come up to Biggs and Toodles, and I'm gonna be like, "Look alive. We don't need ourselves to get pushed around. You know what happens to non-citizens with the guard down around here, and accidents happen at border crossings. And around that time, I'm just gonna pretend like I'm doing something next to Zephyr, and just be like, "You ready to tell Jeff to go?"
Oh,
shit! Are we running the border?
Not yet. I'm gonna let him. I'm gonna see how this goes. He's nice, like trying to keep it cool, but he's just like.
Just so out of character, I know is Iznai telling Saphir to have Jeff just like ramming speed through, or to not stop if the command to stop is made? Like how obvious are we making this?
I think if things go bad with the people boarding us, ramming speed.
Okay.
They're gonna know.
So you don't want it right now. You want it to be like a hey, don't listen to that if they try and slow down and stop.
Yeah, well, because we've been stopped right now, right?
You are stopped presently, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood. I thought we were making the decision to stop or not, and it was like wait until the last moment and then be like, ignore that order, keep going. Okay, so I will reach out to Jeff and be like, start up again, and I want to see if I have anything that can help.
There's like a very big physical nod. The people looking at the carrier are kind of perplexed by that, and one of them kind of like gets a little trigger happy, and when they realize it's just the robot doing robot things, they're like, okay, gun down. But the cooler head of the group approaches the ship, and you hear over the comms, "All right, we're going to be coming in. Just let's see those papers. We'll take a look at the crew, and if what you're saying is true, then well, that'll be the end of it."
Can I just declare really quickly that Pop has stuffed her sunglasses and her rocket into her hoodie, like, or not her hoodie pocket. She's stuffed them like down her shirt in her hoodie, and is trying to mimic Leda, who's like looking all casual and cool, but is
Leda's in the top bunk with the gun, I think, correct?
Oh, that's true. So Pop's sort of like pacing around the cabin, unsure what to do, trying to look casual.
Very not casual. I'm not going to make you roll for this or anything, but like I'm assuming
I already have
failure.
a -1 to avoid being noticed, so
yeah, I think
not being noticed.
I'm gonna wait until the boarding party is like on the little like hatch about to enter, and then tell Jeff to gun it.
Oh
so
shit!
At least
all right, so you guys really aren't gonna try talking them. Okay.
Well, I mean, said go.
Let's see.
Well, wait. He's nice. Like, be ready in case they jump us.
Oh, okay. Be ready. Okay, so then I do not tell Jeff to go. We will just be ready.
Could have some serious repercussions.
He's nice. Like, this might all just blow over. So let's just. We're here perfectly legitimately. We don't know about any covenants, and we don't know about any memories. We're just people who completely recall our whole lives. Yes. No amnesia here.
We are lying. I understand.
Yes, correct. Lie well.
Amazing. All right, so I just realized there's not really a door in this map, Lee.
I kind of assumed that like you like crawl up the outside and then down a hatch or some shit. So
yeah, okay, that makes sense. All right, so anyway though,
I can put a door though if you prefer.
Oh, it's fine. The hatch thing sounds about right. I'm assuming they kind of pop in around here. So three men with death spitters walk in. The kind of leader of the group walks in, looks around. Only one of them's actively holding the death spitter. I know the token's a little misleading. The other two have their death spitters around their back. One of them has like a kind of pamphlet or a tablet with him. He's looking it over and says, all right, so this is the I'll use my phone as a reference. So this is the ERA mission, and you are led by let's see there's seeing Commander Karoom as the leader of this mission, and then takes a second and says, that's actually not entirely accurate. I'm the leader of the mission. Commander Karoom is I'm the hired muscle. Yes, the facilitator, so to speak. No, that's not what it says here on my tablet. Yeah, well, I'm in charge here. Yes. What is it that you want? Well, we're gonna have to take a look at your crew here. The manifest states that there's a number of non-citizens of Ashur. Now, of course, you've given a good reason as to why they're non-citizens, but we're gonna have to take a look nonetheless. So let's take it from the top. And they kind of walk around the room, kind of finding themselves in kind of strategic places as the one with the tablet walks around and kind of introduces himself. I'm Border Officer Kami, let's say. Border Officer Kami, and I'm going to be real quickly.
And I serve the Border Union.
Sorry, what? Okay. And he kind of walks around and looks everybody over and says, I was informed that there are some smugglers that have been trying to get out of the city. Some smugglers associated with notorious smuggler who was taken into custody last week, Ninkasi. Any of you recognize that name? He's looking around the chamber. How did people respond?
Exactly like I did. Pop's just shaking her head.
Same. Like,
So, sorry.
I am
Wait.
not familiar with that name.
Lee, did you have something to add?
So, does it look like they're satisfied when nobody says anything? Or does it look like they're going to press on?
Not necessarily. It does look like they're pressing, but it also looks like he's looking over the manifest and looking at various people. Your names are listed in the manifest as they are, as you identify, but it doesn't say that you're like brought on by anybody in particular. It doesn't say that you're affiliated with Ninkasi. So he kind of walks over to Biggs and Toodles. Biggs and Toodles give him like their life story, which of course I will pass over because they're the sort of nameless mooks. And wow, I'm really being cruel to Biggs and Toodles. But yeah, and then gets over to here and looks at Pwabi and says, "Hugh, you're Pop?" And Pwabi is like, "Ugh, no, I'm Pwabi." Pwabi, that's right. Okay, oh, yes, yeah, you're here. Excellent. Now, do you know of anybody named Ninkasi by any chance? Pwabi's like, "Oh, no, I don't. Let me fucking go." Gave you the manifest and everything. Shit. And Kami's like, yes, okay. Very well, very well. Walks over to Aster. "We know who you are." Walks down here. "Ah, Commander Karun. Haven't seen you in a while." "Yeah, I try to remain out of sight." "Why would that be?" "You know why." "Oh, still about that whole thing with the kids. Ah, God. Yeah, well, had to happen." "No, it didn't." "No, that's your opinion. But yeah, pity that it did. But it's gonna happen eventually."
What happened with the children? Saphir says really loudly towards Lita.
"Oh, I hardly even saw you back there." Stands up, walks back. "You blend into the scenery like you're part of the machine itself. What did you say your name was?"
Missed. I am Saphir. Hello.
Saphir. Let's see. Oh, yes, you're listed as a freelancer. There's
That is
4
correct.
people listed as a freelancer. What's your purpose on this mission? Saphir, was it, right?
I am here to assist in the research.
Yeah, sure. Any technical skills? Where'd you grow up? Where'd you train?
Oh, you know, I trained here and there.
Here and there's not a technical school that I'm familiar with, partner.
It's, yes, outside of your wheelhouse, I would assume, as a border guard.
Iznai like leans in, like hand on Zephyr's shoulder, like, "Aha, my friend, Zephyr. You know, we grew up in the Little Sisters, and sometimes one has hands-on learning with the innards of the below by living, especially living in the harsher places. So they are particularly well skilled at maneuvering such places. Their technical expertise comes from the school of life and experience, more so than technical institutes."
Skill of life. Got it. And you're?
I'm Iznai.
Yeah. Says you're a freelancer as well. What sort of freelance work do you do here?
Oh, you know, I help organize mission and, handle logistics, carry boxes. You always need another pair of hands when you're going out somewhere like that, where things might need to get hauled around.
kind of walks away, not looking at you so much. A lot of freelancers on a research expedition. Don't you think you should have brought on some more experts? Pats Commander Karoom on the back. Don't you think you should have brought on some more studious types? Seems like you've got a lot of muscle. And then he comes over to Pop. Now, who might you be? I suspected you were Plobby when I walked in, but apparently Plobby's Plobby.
Hi. My name is Pop. It's really nice to meet you.
Sounds like a strange name, Pop. From Penumbra?
Not exactly. Because she looks like she's from, like she's built differently too, right?
Yeah, she looks like a little
yeah.
bit of a mix between Penumbra and Anumbra, which, by the way, is because Anumbra is at like Mars level and Penumbra is like heavier gravity than Earth. You come from a place that has Earth-like gravity.
Okay. I think she knows. I think she's been around long enough to know that she can't pass for someone who just grew up here, because she's just physically not built like them. So, no, I came in later, and that's why I'm on this job, because I really love Ashur, and I really would love to stay there, and I would love to earn my papers.
Yeah, that sounds like a Penumbra thing to say. I won't tell anybody. Looks like that's the whole loadout, man. Except for we're missing someone. Looks down the list. Oh, there's one more that I haven't heard of, or that I haven't seen here. Do you have a freelancer by the name of Lita?
She's not feeling very well.
Yeah, there's probably a little hatch you can pop down.
She just pokes her head out. I'm Lita.
What do you do around here? Where are you from?
Whatever needs to be done.
Little sisters too, I take it, or Penumbra?
Yeah, recently. Traveled a bit.
All right. Traveled a
Number
bit.
originally. Yeah.
Funny that I've been manning this crossroads for quite some time. Got put in charge of it. Pulled myself up by my bootstraps here. And I don't think I've seen a Pop or a Lita show up on my specs anytime recently. And you say you're from Penumbra. Well,
I mean, I didn't come through this way. There are other ways into Ashur besides this route.
I suppose if you go the byways and the small, lesser traveled routes, but if you go by those ways, anyway.
Hey,
I am reasonably certain that. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, Pat. Sorry. I was wondering if I could try and glean what might make this person satisfied. Like what does this person really want? Like, could we bribe him? You know, that kind of thing.
This person is definitely looking for a bride. Also, probably suspects that you are, in fact, not who you say you are.
Okay. Does he seem likely to let us go, or does he seem like he's leaning toward furthering this whole process?
Leaning towards furthering this whole thing, but then he says something along the lines of, Ninkasi was well known for distilling products and selling them downstream, as it were, to the penumbral reaches. She was a smuggler of the worst sort. Didn't pay any attention to the hefty funds that have to be traded in to facilitate such mercantile endeavors. But Ninkasi, for her part, oiled the gears fairly well in her days. I would be curious to see if Ninkasi's brats did the same. But then again, you're not them, are you?
We are not, so I do not suspect we would be oiling your gears at any time soon.
Pity. Well, I've got some paperwork to file. And unless you have oil for certain gears, then I suppose I'll be on my way.
Oh, is that all that's required? Gears?
Yeah, we are all part of a bigger machine, are we not?
Does it look like
I see.
Ashur or Karum are going to do anything about this?
Aster's shitting their pants. Karum is kind of nervously looking around. And honestly, if Pop's within earshot, Karum would probably say, we're going to want to water their gears. Filing paperwork and not letting us leave, not a good sign.
I'm gonna come over to Ashur and be like, hey, you got anything to grease? Yeah, you got that discretionary fund in those pockets? I noticed you got a lovely high-collared fit. It looks like it's got some great pockets. How deep are they?
I didn't expect this to be such a hot mission. Usually when I leave the city, nobody's guarded like this. I'm not used to dealing with smugglers. You're not smugglers, I know, but not used to this.
And I'm like, all right, so do you have any
kind
money?
Of leaning back in her chair, like,
I'm like, does anybody got any money that we can like?
I have some money. We could give them trail ration.
Could Pop's gonna go over to Iznai and sort of like huddle. Iznai, did you keep any of the from where?
I might have had to give the what to the who that were pursuing us, and I might be dry on booze right now, unfortunately.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
Did you bring
Saphir's gonna lean into the huddle. They mentioned
this third head.
Yeah, just very awkwardly into the huddle. They mentioned needing gears greased. Perhaps I could engage in the casual procreation to have them look the other way.
Oh,
Zafir, that is one suggestion, but we might want to. The thing is that depending on the guard, it might take a while, and we can't risk waiting too long here. So if we have anything more like money, that would work. But good thinking. I was worried you hadn't picked up on the euphemism and you thought they literally meant gears.
I had assumed it was the innuendo. Was I incorrect?
No, you were correct. It was an innuendo, but they mean money, not, well, who knows. But good. You're showing great progress, Zafir. I'm so proud of you. You're really picking up on the nuances of conversation. Okay, Pop, I'm all ears.
Well, okay. She'll smile, her classic Pop smile, and turn to Aster and say, I know that this has been a little bit of a rocky start and that you're not used to missions going this way, but if you do this part right now, then we can get back to the research that you so want to do, and then you'll forget about all of this when we're finally in the Era Vaults and you're looking at this amazing place and you're seeing all of these cool treasures that were left behind. Just think about that.
Oh, goodness. All right. Very well. My pockets aren't full, as you put it. Just because I'm from the upper city and work in the Little Sisters doesn't mean I'm actually loaded like many people assume. I get paid Little Sister wages, let's be on the same page.
Are they wearing anything nice?
They're wearing some nice things.
Could
But
I
they
point
also look
to?
old.
Oh, well. What would I judge this soldier person to be from? Like, kind of what social standing?
These are all Ashurian border guards. They're making sure that nobody gets into the next town over without.
Yeah, but how will they get paid?
So these are, yeah, they're getting paid by the Silus actually. Sorry, they're not getting paid by the state. They're getting paid by wealthy capitalist vultures.
I have one more idea then. I'm gonna go to the soldier person and say, so you know that we're going toward the Era Vaults, and who even knows what's out there? But I hear that there are a ton of ancient treasures. Now, we are supposed to bring those back to the person who hired us, but if you let us go on our way, then I will certainly remember who helped us, and she'll give him a wink, and we'll make sure that you're taken care of on the way back as we come back through.
Okay, this is definitely a persuasion or a manipulation roll of some sort. Do you have any bonuses to that sort of roll?
Only to sense motive. However, I do have 2 memory points. So
okay.
I think I would like to flashback as I'm doing this. Oh my gosh, I have the best idea. Okay.
Yes.
Pop's life is slowly coming together. She is she has her sunglasses like on her collar like she normally wears them, but now she remembers being dressed in really nice pressed clothing, a nice blouse with like a really sharp collar, a little scarf knotted around, and her hair's done up super nice, her makeup's really nice, and she is standing behind a desk, and there's a phone ringing just continuously. Well, she doesn't really know what that is, but there's something ringing, and there's a person on the other side of the desk who's just like red in the face, shouting at her, angry, and she's just like, "It's all right, sir. I totally understand. We will do everything we can to take care of this. Why don't I just," and she's talking this person down, she slides a piece of paper across the desk that seems to be some sort of voucher, and the man walks away satisfied.
Yeah! Amazing. All right, definitely. And so you're redeeming this for an insta win, right?
Yes, and a +1 to, I guess, convincing people.
Customer service.
+1 to customer service. Yes.
Yes. All right, so go ahead and give me. So you don't even bother with a roll. This was an insta success. Comey looks you up and down and says, "No, you're not that wrong. Yeah, the vaults of Era have a whole bunch of strange and ancient artifacts and technology, things of great value. I wouldn't mind being taken care of by someone who had a successful mission out that way.
And the best
but rest assured,
nobody knows that they're out there. So nobody will even know if something were to mysteriously go missing on our way back into town."
You make an excellent point. Who would be the wiser? He says as he gives a hand gesture. His men file behind him. It has been a pleasure doing business with you. I mean, meeting you and taking tally of this mission. Doesn't seem like there are any smugglers on this ship after all. Just a bunch of good old future citizens doing Ashur's good work. Let's go, boys. You resume your journey. Bobby's actually quite upset. What the hell do you mean, Ashur, that you didn't bring a bribe? Everybody knows you bring a bribe when you're leaving the city. Fucking amateur. Yeah, so
Well,
like, I didn't know.
It sounds like our Silu has not exactly been really on the level about things, particularly considering Commander Karoom is listed as the leader of the expedition. It just seemed to me she may have also neglected to pay, the pre-flight bribe, as it were.
Wait, is Commander Karoom not in charge?
It's a bit of a dual leadership.
I'm in charge.
Situation. They're in charge,
Kind of dual
but
leadership situation.
Karoom's in charge of
Ashur's
security.
in charge. Yes, that's exactly how it is. I keep getting listed as the leader of this group. That's not the case. Silu that brought me on.
Maybe you should stop acting like one then.
Easier said than done. But I'll try to get out of my old habits.
Well,
anyway.
I'm glad this has gone so swimmingly. And like, are the gates open ahead? Like, does it look like we can go?
Yeah, the gates have opened. You're on your way. You're actually given the same border treatment by the next gate over, but they don't check your papers and walk onto your ship like the other one. They just check to see if you're registered. They make sure that the pre-flight bribe has been paid. It looks like the pre-flight bribe was actually paid everywhere, including here, but perhaps these guys were given some other information that the folks next door weren't.
And so, wait, is this the Nineveh border security that lets us through?
Yes, this is the Nineveh border security that's letting us through.
I would remark to Commander Karoom, so Commander, you can't go home, but you can cross the border.
I can be in the tunnels. They don't let me in the city. For good reason. And I don't want to go back.
What happened to the children?
It's
And that's where Lita pulls her head back up and sits up.
I'm just like, oh shit! I'm sure that was just some oblique reference to some old soldierly days that Karoom will share with us at a point in the future. Zephyr.
Oh,
we can't.
I understand.
We can't all.
We are not.
We can't all share
about
our
children.
We can't share our. We can't share our backstory, which is surely a euphemism. We can't share our backstories yet because it's very early on in the voyage. I mean, we need like campfire stories. Except there's not going to be any campfires, and I'm not sure what that is. But heat lamp stories, to pass the time in the evenings, the late cycles.
Indeed.
I see. This is all very curious.
Quite.
I am going to go back to the bunk.
We better make sure that we actually find some treasures or whatever out there. Otherwise, that guy's going to be really upset.
Master says, I wish you hadn't promised them that, because rest assured, the vaults are full of artifacts of the most interesting nature. Truly, whatever we give them, we'll have to study before we hand it over. It'd be a pity to lose such a thing to ruffians.
Yeah. Or we just
conspiratorially.
Or we just go back when he's not on shift.
Or we just give him something that we know is actually worthless. We trick him.
Why would we give them Huabi?
Oh shit! He's not. He's like, God. Why do I even try? His face says, "Why do I even try?" His mouth says, "Ah." Sophia, what a kid.
Well, Bobby actually laughs, and she's like, and she punches you in the back a little harder than she should have, and it kind of hurts. And she says,
"Ow!
Fuck you too, friend. Fuck you too."
Oh, I did not realize that the exchange of comedic insults was also a requisition for the casual procreation.
No, Sophia, that's
She laughs at that as well. She's cracking up at everything you say now.
Pop kind of frowns at Pwabi, and just says, yeah, Saphir, I don't know if she really wants to be your friend. And she'll kind of like take Saphir's arm and like wheel her away from Pwabi. You can see that Pop. Well,
excuse you.
Pop has a bit of jealousy written on her face as she leads Saphir away from Pwabi.
No.
Oh shit. So, yeah, as that happens, Pwabi looks over to Ashur and then back over the group, and she's just like, "What's her deal?" Ashur's like, "I don't know. They don't know very much about people, to be honest." Yeah, I know. I was asking the air. Clearly, the air is more intuitive than anybody else here.
Yes, well, let's just hope that the air doesn't say anything back. In my experience, that tends to lead to gas mask situations.
A threat? Alright, Bench.
No, more of an observation about the nature of the station. I think you'll find that Nibiru treats us much as we treat it, and you only need to look around to see how that has gone.
All right, Captain. The way I see it, Nibiru treats us the way we treat it, which is to say, we go about our lives not giving a shit about Nibiru, and Nibiru gives no shits about us. The room sits silently. And hours transpire, and you move through the tunnels, going about your kibitzing and conversating. For the purposes of plot, I will not indulge another glorious RP session right now, and instead say that hours pass. And you move from one part of from one part of Anumbra to another, and you find yourselves in increasingly complex and broken down tunnels. You pass a border patrol that does not take your cards. They do not even care very much that you've passed them. You hear over the intercom to Pwabi, "You know there's no air further down if you go." And Pwabi says, "We're aware." And the border patrol says, "There's nothing out there. Those are the vaults of Era." And Pwabi says, "We know. We're going there." Then over the intercom, "Oh, you're that mission. I highly doubt you'll find anything of interest." Bobby says, "Yeah, you and me both." And the gates open. And the tunnels thereafter are a lot more difficult to navigate. Saphir, you feel as though Jeff is kind of worried. The tunnels before you are increasingly closed in and filled with debris. Jeff is having to walk over and under a whole lot of, looks like old damage from a far gone war. Bits and pieces of machinery and bits of the ship itself have been torn asunder, broken, damaged, and left to rust. Blue fungus is growing, or sorry, which one's the green fungus is growing on the rusting metal of the beams that block your passage. And Jeff moves past most of them, but Jeff is growing increasingly worried that they're not going to be able to get much farther down the trail. And they don't want to be blocked in. They don't want to be in a place where they can't back up from. They will move into a position that they can't get out of. but only on command. It's not something that Jeff wants to do.
Saphir is probably sitting with Pop on Pop's bunk, but still shoes off so that they can feel that connection with Jeff. Jeff is growing increasingly concerned, claustrophobic of the tunnel.
Definitely.
Do we need to leave Jeff behind and let Jeff go back?
We might be getting to that point, but I think he can continue for a bit longer. I would not want to see Jeff hurt if he gets stuck.
No, that would be terrible. Jeff has done such a great job so far.
Jeff has.
Jeff
and
nods.
There's like casual foot pats.
Yeah. Cute. I love this Jeff and you relationship. It's really cute. So there does reach a point a few minutes, or well, I'd say maybe like half an hour later, where Jeff is like, if I go past this, I don't think I'll be able to turn around. Bobby is intent on continuing to march forward. What do you do?
Saphir is going to get up and kind of move to where Wabi is again. Just kind of giving Pop a reassuring look beforehand. And Jeff is expressing concern that they're running out of space. Are you certain that this tunnel is clear?
Who the fuck is Jeff?
They'll just pat the control panel. The walker is Jeff. That is their name.
You named the walker. Amazing.
No.
Why am I not surprised?
Jeff has always had a name.
Okay. All right. So Jeff doesn't want to keep walking. That's what I'm hearing.
No,
We're a ways away from
Jeff is expressing concern.
Concern. Sure. Look ahead. There's tunnels. They're maybe a little tight, but we can keep moving through them.
We are certain
We're ways away
it
from
will
the
not
airlock.
I can try and reassure Jeff that it will be okay if you are certain they won't get stuck.
I never said they won't get stuck. I just said that it's going to be a pain and a half to
What
move
happens
much
to
farther.
us
And
if
I guess
Jeff becomes stuck?
Well, then I guess I reverse Jeff. Move backwards. I bet Jeff won't like not having forward cams. But I've done it before.
So I have your assurance that Jeff will be all right.
Got my assurance that I'm an ace pilot, kid.
They'll just kind of pat the dashboard. They are assuring me that everything will be all right, Jeff. You can continue forward.
Jeff gives a I trust you sort of nod and continues moving forward. And indeed, the hallways do become very thin. So thin that Jeff can hardly move through them. Until there comes a point where they are so thin that Jeff literally can't move through them. There's bits of debris blocking the way ahead. And try as Jeff might, Jeff is blocked in. And behind Jeff, there's no way for Jeff to turn around. It's going to be a long backwards movement in order to get to a tunnel at which Jeff could possibly turn around. Bobby leans back in her chair, puts her hand behind her head and says, all right, we got as far as we got. We got to walk from now on. Without getting a single shit about Jeff.
But what about Jeff?
We can't
Yeah, we'll
just
come
leave
back.
Jeff here.
Yeah, we can. Jeff's a machine.
Izna is gonna sidle up and say, Look at these deep tunnels, the airlocks off to the side, the strange bend to some of the debris. Are you sure that there's not other tunnels nearby? I mean, if we got out on foot and scouted around, it's possible we could find maintenance access tunnels and vents up above. If the air has stopped flowing, and it has, then that would mean that Era's tubes are clear. Or at the very least, the blades aren't spinning.
You make a good point. I think that's worth investigating. The side tunnels. Yeah. The vault itself is locked, but side tunnels could do. We brought some excavating equipment, of course. She gestures down to where the gas masks are being held. But side tunnels sound like a good idea. We will, of course, leave Jeff here until we come back. Ashur seems to be in agreement with that, and Karoom hasn't said much in about an hour.
What do you think, Saphir? Do you think Jeff will be okay with that?
Jeff is uncomfortable. Jeff does not like being here.
Jeff is unhappy, and therefore I am unhappy.
Maybe some of us could help guide Jeff backward while some of us go scout around. Not too far, because we don't want to get all separated, but just around.
Why you care so much about a machine?
Because if we lose the machine, we're on foot all the way there and all the way back. That's why you care about the machine, because the machine is just as much a necessary part of this team as any of the rest of us. That is why we care. Now, unless you want to be stuck outside in an airless vault without a gas mask or a safe place to retreat to that can get you out of danger, you care about Jeff.
He's rather hard
Fine.
to disagree with.
Fine.
I like breathing.
I also like breathing. Thank you. She turns to like Aster, and Aster gives her like a whatever they say sort of look, and then she turns to Karoom, who's like, yeah, no, whatever they say. And then she turns to Biggs and to Toodles, who have not been paying attention and don't look back. And then she's like, oh, fucking fine. Putting her in reverse. Come on, Jeff. Alley-oop. And then she starts moving the, then she presses some buttons and Jeff starts moving in reverse. She's kind of like doing the whole turn behind you to look behind you while you're doing reverse thing. And there is, in fact, a reverse window, so she does indeed manage to negotiate a successful reversal. Goes on for, way too long, maybe like 45 minutes. And, by the end of it, she gets back to where Jeff first expressed that concern that any further and he wouldn't be able to move back. And she kind of looks over to you and says, are you happy? We've wasted an hour. And then some.
I would like to
Now we're
diplomatically
going to have to walk
you-
all the way back.
I would like to diplomatically remind you that as you are the pilot, your usefulness would rather seem to expire alongside Jeff's. Unless there's something
is
else you're
true.
intending
Just-
to pilot.
Not just the pilot. I'm a machinist, just like Saphir. I stick
and
my
what will you
hands
be doing
in
with
things
the
and
machine?
make them work.
Sounds exhilarating. But as for now, I think that we
Yeah,
could be
sure.
well serviced by scouting the nearby tunnels and seeing if there is an alternative route forward, either fit for Jeff or more fit for us. Yuzna is like clearly like antsing to get out and run around in Nibiru's little triangular
Yes,
hallway.
yes. So, so she says, yeah, you know what? I think it's time we all suit it up. Aster, Karoom, what here? Aster says, oh, whatever Karoom says. Karoom kind of steps up and says, Aster, please act like a leader. You're forcing way too much of this on me. Yeah, we're suiting up. Everybody get on your gas masks. You don't have to put them on, latch up yet. We're in the low air zone. Kind of dead, stinky, stale air. Not the type you want to breathe, but not the type that'll kill you. And yeah, take anything you need from down south. Got some excavating equipment. I suggest at least somebody takes a torch.
I will carry it.
Is there a
Yeah,
drill?
sorry. I meant to say cutting torch. I was actually blanking on the name. I think Commander Karoom. I tried to deliver that line as diegetically as possible, but Commander Karoom would have said cutting torch. I was blanking on the name. Yeah. So there's a cutting torch specific for melting through wood or
Jor, Jeff is our ride. We're in Jeff.
Jeff is our ride. Yes. Hey, Jor, by the way. Hi. Yeah.
Are there any light sources to take with us? Any portable light sources?
Gas mask. Can we show illustrations for a second here? Each gas mask has a sort of mining helmet style light on top of it, as well as a visor to prevent the air that's around your face from getting out, and a big long tube that connects to a front-mounted air receptacle. Air tank.
Pop will put on her mask and walk up to Leda and do like finger guns and say, "How do I look?" And she'll like start like flaunting her stupid excavation clothes with the mask and everything.
Out of character, I'm
Leda,
totally
you're seeing
resist trying to say, "Are you my mummy?" And put the gas mask on.
I'm so sorry. Are you my mummy? Sorry, I had to.
Yep.
I get that a reference and I approve.
Yeah, she'll grab the gas mask, and I think she's. I mean, she knows she gave away their spare, but she's almost wishing that she'd given away a second one, so there was one minus for Puabi. But this is good.
Puabi the hate think. I have succeeded.
Definitely rubs her the wrong way.
Yeah. There's always got to be one NPC that people hate.
Volcano Stokes.
Well, I think I've given you tell. Anyway, so you all suit up. There are two cutting torches. Puabi takes one, and who else was taking one?
Saphir's going to take the other.
Okay, Saphir, you can list that amongst your inventory. I'll just remember that Puabi has one. And Aster takes a whole bunch of notes, a really big backpack that you don't know the contents of, and Commander Karoom has a big backpack too. You assume that the contents are related to Karoom's duties, which are various and muscle requiring. Karoom, Toodles, and Biggs also, very notably, have death spitters.
I guess I'll take my
take-
pipe then as well. That's all
Okay.
Pop really has to her name is a pipe, sunglasses, a rocket ship, and now a gas mask.
Lita made Pop clean that pipe on the trip. Because you always take care
Excellent.
of your weapons.
If you want to keep it, you have to take care of it.
Yep.
You can imagine.
I
Exactly.
love this. I love this
Yeah, Lita-
characterization.
She checks her stuff, makes sure she's got everything. She's still got the death spitter from before that they left. Yeah.
Yes. All right,
She
so we've
follows them
got our
out.
adventuring part. And we enter the tunnels. Let's see.
You want me to drop bottom left? Also, time check 15
I've
minutes
got
left.
yeah, why don't you just move us to the table? Or to the new map.
Enter the tunnels.
Indeed. All right, so I'll let you guys move around, figure yourselves out. But you manage to move about, and you find an access tunnel off to the side that does indeed appear to be one of the smaller routes that will take you into the Lost Vaults of Era themselves. It's kind of a small maintenance tunnel, the sort that you've become well acquainted to. It looks like the inner workings of the Little Sister. You don't really
are we
have
able to?
Hmm?
Are we able to hear each other like through all of our stuff?
Yes, the gas masks all have comm units. You can decide whether your comms are going to the party at large, or you can signal. Everybody has like a 3-digit code that you can tap on your comms unit, and you can do individual communications as well. You can't, however, do 3-way communications. It's either everybody or one person. So that's fun.
East Night, where should I stand or walk? What should I be doing?
Just stay near me, and if you hear anything strange, then you might want to let me know. But overall, no sudden movements. Don't do anything too rash, and I'm sure we'll find our way through here without too much trouble.
Aye, aye.
Indeed.
She salutes. I know you're not really
So
the
let me move-
captain, but you're kind of the captain.
Oh, are we heading in? Yeah.
Move our players. I mean, just so that they're visible on screen. Mostly we're not going to use the map, but I just want to give you guys a nice little visual of what's going on. Yeah. So you're in these damaged tunnels, and you're being led at first by Karoom, but Iznai seems to take the lead after a bit, considering somehow this is all familiar to Iznai.
He's not just
Something
rubbing
about-
his hands all over the walls and like head against listening. Despite the low oxygen, I like don't have the mask all the way on because I want to go ear to station, and I'm just thinking about like I wince at the thought of Death Spitter shouts, and I say almost absent-mindedly, "Check your fire. You wouldn't want to damage anything." And Iznai, just like a bloodhound, is like sniffing out something that he thinks he knows is here, but he doesn't even know what it is. He just caught the scent.
Indeed. And you would see that these passageways are much akin to those around in the previous parts of the tunnels. They're all damaged and seemingly by weapons such as death spitters. You in fact can see some spikes in the wall, holes where spikes once were, long, long ago dried blood, bits of electronics trampled under boot. They don't talk about this often, but the dead vaults of Era did not die of natural causes. They were brutally murdered in the dying breaths of the Ashurian primarchy. This was, one of the final crimes committed by Ashur at its height. The murder of the Era vaults. And you see signs after the fact, like you're looking at a corpse under inspection.
Pat, we're at 11 minutes, and we need time for outros.
Yes, okay. So, you move forward into the tunnels, and after a long period of journeying, after a number of pitfalls and tunnel cave-ins that befall when you step in the wrong direction or you trod your foot on the wrong path, you find yourselves moving closer to an airless portion, and there's a small airlock to prevent any of the airlessness from beyond escaping into the aerated portions of the tunnel. It's a bit of a dead end unless you're willing to break in. What do you do?
Well, we have our torch things, right? Our torch cutters?
Yes.
Is
Bobby
that what
seems
these are
intent
for?
on using them. That is indeed what they're for.
He's not be like, I think that there's a way around up ahead.
Are you basing this off of knowledge or intuition?
Let's just say I've been around.
Okay. And I think at that, we're going to call it for the night. There is a vault door ahead of you. You suspect that there's no oxygen beyond, because why would there be? And there's one party member, Quabi, is very intent on destroying the vault door with the cutters, and Isnai has a strange intuition that there's a way beyond that does not involve cutting through the door. And that is where we will leave for the night. Okay, so thank you all so much for joining us. And let's do a brief sign off. So I'm sure everybody is eager to promote their own products, and I want to give you the time to do so. So let's start from the same direction that we did earlier. Lita, what's going on with you? Sorry, Cleric of Court.
Hi, I'm Kat at Cleric of Court. That's where you can find me on Twitter and lurking in various Discord servers. I drink, I roll dice, I play games on the internet with my friends. That's what I do. The next place that you can find me will be this coming Thursday over on This Is How We Roll, the Lawful Geeks channel, where we are playing Shadowrun 6e that has been heavily homebrewed because Shadowrun 6e. But we are just in the point where we're getting to where we can align ourselves with the Yakuza against the corpse, and we have to do a bank robbery. Should be fun. And I'm also playing a street shaman whose magical spirit is about to leave her and turn her over to somebody else. So it's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine. No worries. It's going to be great. But yeah, if you're interested in Shadowrun, if you are looking for a different type of sci-fi kind of setting, come check us out over on the Lawful Geek, and I will tweet out when that happens. And then we'll be back here again on Friday for more Nibiru.
Yes. Excellent. All right.
Yeah, some people who've wronged some children might be getting something coming to them.
Maybe.
I have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to children and being harmed. I mean, it's not like, this is a Median tragedy or anything like that involving Lita. It'll be fine.
I tried to spark something so hard. He was just like, nope, not this time.
Not yet.
We've got the conclusion coming up on Friday, so join us for that, and we might see what this whole talk about children is related to. And who plays into it? Here's a hint. It's not just one person. If any people at all. Why are we talking about children? They're unrelated to this. Anyway, moving on. Pop, tell us a little about your stuff that you got going on. Sorry, Level 1 Geek.
Yeah, no, that's fine. My name's Tori. I'm with Level 1 Geek. And I also play games on the internet with my friends. You can find our Twitch. We have a Twitch channel. We're at Level 1 Geek. That is LVL1Geek. We play D&D on Monday nights and Pathfinder 2nd Edition on Tuesday nights. And then several times a month, we play other indie games as one-shots and stuff like that. So lots of fun. You can head over there if you want to see more of me, and also other people if you don't want to see more of me. That's that. Thank you guys for being patient with my temporary streaming setup. So
I didn't even notice. It's wonderful. Thank you. You're wonderful.
And we got to see
Thank you very much. Oh, there was dogs. I missed them.
There was a dog.
I love dogs.
there was just one little dog, and he was not wanting to be held, so he was like, yeah, I'll say hi now. Let me go.
The stream had a doggo and a catto. I feel like we were Mac's pet.
Oh, cute. Okay. Party Wipe Games. Tell us a little about what you got going on.
Hi everyone, Rindis of Party Wipe Games. You can catch me most days of the week. I play video games on the internet with my friends on our channel, Party Wipe Games. You can catch us most days of the week. The next time you'll see us is tomorrow night at 8:30, where we will be playing Descent into Avernus. I am the Dungeon Master there, and I have players who are currently caught in a boss battle that we had to pause last week because it just ran over. They are fighting the Duke of Baldur's Gate, who happens to be a Blade Pack Warlock, and she punches people with Eldritch Blasts, and it's terrifying them. The next time will be Sundays, where we play Things from the Flood, an alternate 1990s sci-fi with a horror bent to it. It's pretty great. There's a lot of teen drama, and it's fun. Mondays, I am back here on Weave the Tale, where we play The Great American Witch. I play Marcus, a drunkard necromancer who is of the Hecate witch school. Tuesdays, we play Vampire the Masquerade, where I am the storyteller there. The coterie is currently activists for thin blood rights, and it's kind of hilarious because the thin blood in their group wants nothing to do with it because they don't want to die. Wednesdays, nothing going on. Thursdays, we play Scum and Villainy, and that may be wrapping up soon, but we kind of haven't been playing that too much. It's one of those things. It might become Mass later on, which I'm excited for. Fridays, of course, we're here.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. All right. And last but not least, let's go to last but not least. Yeah, sorry. Terrible pun. You get used to them when you get around to Diesel Shot.
Yeah, hello. Speaking of, hey, Pat and I, you can catch us on Diesel Shot. That's all one word. Diesel like you drink, shot like a shot of diesel, or perhaps from a bulat. We stream 3 to 5 times a week. You will be able to find us next, literally tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, on Playing Change Stars, our unique hard sci-fi with a feminist bent, a world from the brain of Pat. So if you like the Game Master, you like what she's laying down here, you might come by for a little bit more. We're playing a little bit outside the main setting. This mini campaign is called Beyond the Frontier because it's beyond the frontier of Trinity Space and is in a pretty wild snow world where they're having to escape, and they narrowly avoided being indentured servant Zorb gladiators, and they are now going to check out a crashed ship in the tundra in the hopes of it getting them to an insect hive to offer them a diplomatic message. So aside from that, on Monday we have High Road, set in our Germanic Japanese fusion world of Rosenkrieg, where the party are mercenaries helping fight a guerrilla war of revolution for some oppressed goblinoids, and that's going to be awesome. That's Monday game, same time. Thursdays our Uranium Fever game. Wednesdays we normally have a dev stream, and Friday we do something on Friday. We do this on Friday. You'll be able to find us here next week. And when we're not out here with our friendly level 1 geeks on Fridays, we're normally doing a dev stream or something of that ilk, working on Change Stars. Kickstarter forthcoming mid-April. So watch this space, watch changestars.com, and consider coming by the Discord. All that said and done, thank you all, lovely people, viewers, and players for coming out. I had a blast, and I think we all did.
Just one more thing to show.
And and we will be rating critical misses. So Stay
Okay.
tuned past Pat's shill for the raid on critical misses, and we're all going to be a great positive factor for them.
So I have one more thing to show. Aside from the wonderful Nibiru Kickstarter, which I'm not part of, but I am very invested in, being the GM of a Nibiru game right now, which is ongoing. I highly encourage you to check that out. I am actually the illustrator of a Kickstarter, which I don't have a link for because I can't post links, but it's called Descendants of Darkness. Check it out. It's a Kickstarter going on right now. I am the illustrator of it. If you like me and my art that I've made, which adorns the lovely Nibiru screen that you're looking at right now, check that out because I'm going to be making more art for that. It's a badass queer themed story of women from otherworldly heritage contending with kind of the legacy of their family, and kind of trying to negotiate the social ramifications of being tieflings in a world of humans, basically, I guess. And we're working on it. We're almost finished. We've gotten 2/3 of the way through. So any money that you can throw our way, very appreciated. Other than that, I'm on the channel that Lee was talking about, Diesel Shot. That's the name of our channel. We work on that together. I'm the lead artist. Lee is Lee does
the
most
Twitch
of the
chat right now. I'm
Lee hosts
chatting
most
as
of
it. Drop follow.
All right. Thank you very much for coming out.
Yeah,
we highly appreciate you coming through.
Yeah, we're rating critical
so
misses.
much.
Several of their players and GMs are over on there this season, playing Zweihander. So if you like greedy fantasy, an interesting take on classes called careers, and the general grim darkness of the quasi-Germanic past, then stay tuned. I'm sure it's going to be a lovely time, and we can't wait to ride that raid.
Lots of Fey bullshit. There's lots of Fey bullshit. Trust me.
Fey bullshit. I love it.
Getting up to shenanigans.
Oh yeah.
These are the tales we weave. Tales of magic. Tales of mystery. Tales exploring the beyond. And while we continue to grow, even more adventures await. In the depths of the unknown. Will you join us in the telling?